Hi everybody, it's been a while. Today let's talk about walk-in bathtubs. These tubs, with a door in the side, have been promoted aggressively for years now, with the promise of being a great bathing solution for people who have difficulty using traditional bathtubs. But do they deliver? Let's find out. I'm Rhonda. I've been working as an occupational therapist for over 25 years now, and have helped thousands of people navigate the challenges that come with injury, illness, or aging. Here at Home Mobility, we dive into practical ways to stay safe and independent at home for a lifetime. In my last video, for example, I showed how a little MacGyver-style thinking can be a useful tool to help rescue yourself after a fall in the home. So, walk-in tubs. They're a topic I started to look into well over a decade ago, and I've also served as an expert witness in walk-in tub trials. There are a few important things to know about these tubs that aren't obvious at first sight. Aspects that are unknown even to most healthcare professionals. So if you're considering to purchase a walk-in tub and want to discover critical information often left out by the salespeople, you're in the right place. And even if you already own one, there's probably a few things in this video that will surprise you and would be good for you to know. Let's get started. If you are anything like me, you're being bombarded with ad after ad touting the amazing benefits of walk-in tubs. Here are the 4 most common advertising claims I've seen over the years. A walk-in tub maximizes bathing comfort and convenience. A walk-in tub makes bathing safe. A walk-in tub makes it easy for a caregiver to assist you. A walk-in tub is a future-proof bathing solution. If you're craving a soothing hot bath to relax your achy muscles and joints but feel uneasy about using your regular tub, these claims probably sound pretty enticing. We'll investigate them one by one now, starting off with a brief introduction to walk-in tubs. Walk-in tubs come in many shapes and forms and with a variety of design elements. The key defining feature for all of them is a door in one of the walls through which the tub can be accessed. Models exist with doors that swing either inwards or outwards, and we'll briefly talk about the type with outward opening doors at the end. The focus of today's video will be the classic style walk-in tub, which has an inward swinging door, 3 to 4 foot high walls, and a built-in seat, and which is the most common and most aggressively advertised type. Our objective is to shed light on the fundamentals, on the general traits of this design, rather than getting caught up in the smaller differences between specific makes and models. To bring the key points to life, I built a full-scale wooden mock-up for hands-on demonstrations. For comparison and water scenes, I've also included footage from a randomly selected commercial model. So now let's go ahead and dissect the 4 advertising claims. The first claim on our list is this one. A walk-in tub maximizes bathing comfort and convenience. Does the reality match the promise? Pause here for just a moment and imagine yourself getting ready to have a nice hot bath in a regular bathtub. You fill the tub with hot water, undress, and step in. Now I'm going to point out an obvious but surprisingly often overlooked consequence of accessing a bathtub through a door in the sidewall. The tub has to be empty when you enter, and it has to be empty again when you exit. Let's take a closer look at what happens in between, with me here as a guinea pig. I've sat down in the tub, closed the door, and can only now turn on the water. The tub begins to fill, starting way down there at my toes. 2 minutes in, only my feet and ankles are submerged in warm water. 1 minute later, the water still hasn't reached the seat level yet. After 6 minutes, the water level has just barely risen above the seat and I'm shivering. Still waiting after 7.5 minutes. After almost 9 minutes, the tub is finally full. I'm really looking forward to a nice hot bath now. But after this wait, will I actually get that? Let's take a look at this last shot and inspect where the waterline falls. In this scene, to maximize immersion, I slid to the seat's edge and slouched down as much as possible. Even then, the water barely reached an inch above my belly button, leaving my neck and upper torso fully exposed. And this gets even worse when you do what the user manuals of many tubs require you to do: sit fully upright. So if you were envisioning a hot soak that includes your upper back, neck, and shoulders, you're likely to be left sorely disappointed, especially if you're someone of an average height or taller. Finally, at the end of the bath, there's no choice but to sit and wait yet again as the tub drains, this time while you're soaking wet. So if you get cold easily like I do, you might be shivering by the time you exit the tub. Fill and drain times can vary greatly up or down, and will of course depend on factors like water pressure, plumbing, tub capacity, and tub features. In our example, it took almost 9 minutes to fill the tub, even though we had strong water flow and only a medium-sized tub. In the case of a larger tub or older, weaker plumbing, the wait times could be even longer. At the bottom line, does a walk-in tub maximize bathing comfort and convenience? I wouldn't count on it. As we saw, a walk-in tub user can't pre-fill the tub, and he or she needs to sit inside throughout the fill and drain times. Plus, their upper body immersion during the bath can really be quite limited. Let's move on to the second claim, that a walk-in tub makes bathing safe. Most people consider walk-in tubs because they're worried about safety. Some of those really want to keep enjoying a hot soak, but they struggle to get up from the bottom of a standard tub and are afraid of getting stuck inside. Others care less about whether they have a hot bath or a shower, but are primarily worried about slipping while trying to step over the wall of their old tub. Either way, if you go by the sales pitches, walk-in tubs might seem like a good answer to these safety concerns. But do they deliver on this expectation? Let's investigate. The term walk-in tub sounds simple enough. Just walk in, right? If only it were that easy. If you're able-bodied, stepping in might seem like no big deal. But take a closer look and you'll see it's not just about walking at a minimum skill level. It requires a lot more than that. Let's break it down, starting with the threshold. We're all familiar with stepping over thresholds on flat ground, as well as with taking a step up on stairs. A walk-in tub requires you to step up to an elevated floor level and across a threshold at the same time. A hybrid motion that's rarely encountered in daily life. In this example, I'm stepping over a 7-inch high, 4-inch wide threshold with the tub floor sitting 2.5 inches below its top edge. This awkward step isn't the only challenge though. At the same exact time, you also have to squeeze through a narrow doorway with a door that swings into the very same space you're seeking to occupy. Here, I'm guilty of using the door for support. While I'm not supposed to do so, it's just too tempting to grab whatever's closest. In this instance, I closed the door after I sat down. An alternative is to close the door while still standing. But either way, the space is tight and will be even more confining for someone larger than me. These maneuvers to enter the tub require a form of multitasking that can be quite challenging and uncomfortable to perform for someone with mobility issues. Exiting the tub can be tricky too, and is accident-prone. Stepping down creates momentum, and clearing a threshold at the very same time is an unusual, awkward motion. You can exit either by stepping out backward, which adds the challenge of limited visibility, or by stepping out forward, where the open bathroom space leaves little to grab onto. Either way, it's no surprise that people experience accidents in these scenarios. Now let's address the fear of getting stuck in a regular bathtub. Well, surprise! The risk of getting stuck exists with walk-in tubs too, and honestly, it can be a whole lot scarier there. For starters, were you aware that you cannot open a walk-in tub's inward swinging door when the tub is full of water? Even if you unlock it, all that water is pushing against the door like a stubborn linebacker. It's not budging. But why does that even matter for getting stuck when you can just pull the plug and drain the water? Well, not always. People have failed in draining their walk-in tubs for two types of reasons. One, they experience an inability to turn the drain control. This could be due to weak hands, arthritis, or numbness, especially with wet or soapy hands and all too often round-shaped dials. Or two, a mechanical failure, such as a clogged drain or a broken drain release cable. But you might ask, if the water won't drain, why not just climb out? The reality is that for most walk-in tub users, it will not be safe or even possible to follow the escape route I'm demonstrating here with the mock-up model. Being unable to release the water isn't the only way to get stuck. Another way people get stuck in the tub is due to mishaps. Here is a picture of me at the bottom of the mock-up tub in the footwell. How could a person even end up down there? One way this occurs is when a person accidentally slips off the edge of the seat. Let's take a closer look at one such slip scenario. One where the bather operates a tub fixture. First, let's go through it with an empty tub. The person scoots to the edge of the seat and leans over to reach the fixture and oops! Their bottom slips off the edge. Without enough leg strength to stop the slide, they collapse into the footwell. What happens next? The first thing the person might try to do is to crawl out of the tub through the doorway, only to realize that their own body blocks them from opening the inward swinging door. Next, they might try getting on their knees to escape, but for many, the tight quarters will make it impossible to turn over. Here I'm showing a few other ways people might attempt to get back up onto the seat. Without a great deal of strength and flexibility, succeeding at any of these self-rescue attempts is going to be exceedingly difficult, and for many people, impossible. Now let's briefly look at the same type of mishap in a filled tub. Here I demonstrate how a user moves forward to reach the drain control and release the water at the end of their bath, and how they experience an accidental slip off the edge of the seat and into the footwell. With water in the tub, buoyancy reduces body weight, which one might think should make recovery easy. But the moment you try to stand or get back up on the seat, gravity takes over inch by inch as you start to emerge. Take a look here. My head and upper torso are already out of the water, making me heavier, yet I'm still far from back on the seat. Bottom line, even with the help of buoyancy, self-rescue can still be impossible for those with limited strength or mobility. Whether you're stuck in a full or empty tub, being trapped for hours or even days without access to food or medications can obviously have severe consequences. Now you might be wondering, if there's someone else in the household, isn't all of this a non-issue anyway? Because they can easily help you escape from the tub? The short answer is no. It's exceedingly hard for another person to help with any form of rescue due to the high walls and tight space. We'll look at this in detail in another video, where we'll also showcase several other ways people end up getting trapped in their walk-in tubs. I'll link that video up here once it's live. It's important to point out here that these incidents are not just hypotheticals. They actually do occur in real life. I've heard dramatic reports from some patients who've gotten stranded in their tubs due to an inability to drain the tub or due to slip accidents. I've spoken to various EMT responders who told me about walk-in tub incidents and who shared how extracting people from them can be extremely difficult. And I've also been called in as an expert witness for cases where sadly people lost their lives after getting stuck in their walk-in tubs. Bottom line, if you were tempted to believe the claim, a walk-in tub makes bathing safe, you might agree by now that it's worth a second thought. Serious fall risks do still exist, along with alarming entrapment risks. Let's move on to the next claim. A walk-in tub makes it easy for a caregiver to assist you. Caregiving at home comes with challenges, and helping someone stand up from a seated position is a key task. Before we show how this works in a walk-in tub, let's first use a chair to demonstrate the safe and effective way to do it. I'm asking my volunteer Tom to do two things to get started. 1, move toward the edge of the chair, and 2, lean forward. These moves, which able-bodied people do instinctively, shift Tom's center of gravity over his feet. This is necessary for him to help create leverage and maintain balance. As the caregiver, my job is to safely help Tom get up, despite his mobility issues, while also protecting myself from injury. To do so, I position one foot in line with his bottom and the other one a couple feet away for stability. Then I squat slightly, lean in without curving my back, and hold on to his waist tightly. Here, we are using a gait belt for an extra secure grip. When Tom is ready, I straighten my legs and shift my weight from one foot to the other, helping him lift smoothly off the seat. Now, let's see how well this get-up routine works in the walk-in tub. For starters, when Tom is scooted to the edge of the seat and leaning forward as he's supposed to, one thing becomes apparent right away. There simply is no space for me to be inside the tub with him now to help him up. What would it look like if I stepped in anyway? Then neither Tom nor I can move as needed. He can't scoot forward or lean in, and I don't have the space for a wide stance, deep squat, or firm grip on his waist. In this position, getting Tom safely up from the seat is pretty much impossible, and at the very least, it will really put my back at risk of injury. What about reaching in over the tub wall while standing entirely on the outside? Even as someone who is relatively tall at 5'8", I can't get low enough to support Tom at his waist without overextending my back. And grabbing someone under the armpit is a strict no-no due to the risk of shoulder dislocations. Okay, so what if I try a compromise by standing with one foot inside the tub and one foot outside? As you can see, my stance here is quite awkward. My outside foot is on the ground, while my inside foot is several inches higher on the tub floor. The tub wall prevents me from placing either of my feet close to Tom's bottom as a stable base for the lift. There's no space for Tom to scoot forward to the edge of the seat. Neither Tom nor I can lean in properly because we're both competing for the same narrow space. And I can't step backwards when lifting Tom up, as I will bump against the door. To sum it up, this approach is highly problematic too, and very likely to lead to injury for the caregiver. In these clips, we've just demonstrated how difficult it is for a caregiver to assist someone with standing up in a walk-in tub. But that's only one of the challenges. Helping a person with sitting down, entering, or exiting is similarly tricky and dangerous in such tight quarters. So, at the bottom line, does a walk-in tub really make it easy for a caregiver to provide assistance? Yeah, right. Reality indicates otherwise. The cramped quarters and high walls really constitute an ergonomic nightmare. Now let's move on to the last item we're investigating here. The claim that a walk-in tub is a future-proof bathing solution. I'll be using the terms age-proof and future-proof interchangeably here, with both of them intending to convey that something continues to be useful as someone ages and becomes less mobile. So let's take a look at what it means for a bathing solution to classify as age-proof. Here is a diagram showing a simplified sequence of 4 common mobility levels. We'll investigate walk-in tub suitability for each of them. The person on the very left has full mobility, someone of any age with good muscle strength, flexibility, and balance. A regular bathtub or shower works perfectly well for them, and it would be absurd for them to put up with the inconveniences of a walk-in tub we discussed earlier. So let's mark this node with an X to indicate that a walk-in tub is irrelevant for this person. People in the next category have some mobility challenges. They can walk, but have some problems with flexibility, muscle strength, or balance, and their stepping skills are a little compromised. I've named this mobility level impaired stepping, for lack of a better label. It is here that people are beginning to feel unsafe getting into and out of a standard bathtub. This is the kind of person who's most likely to consider buying a walk-in tub. Someone in this category has enough mobility to access a walk-in tub, so we'll note down access as a yes. But this type of person wouldn't be able to reliably rescue themselves from the slip and entrapment scenarios we looked into. For instance, they would have trouble getting up from the footwell or climbing out over the tub wall as I demonstrated. So I have to mark safety as a no. But let's put safety aside for a moment and get back to the topic of future-proofness. What would it mean for someone in this category to have a future-proof, age-proof bathing solution? Well, the solution needs to be viable amid further declining mobility. And one realistic next scenario would be the shuffle walk category. Someone in this category has trouble maintaining balance and can only walk if the ground is flat. Tub access for this person is impossible, or at least extremely unsafe. So we'll have to mark suitability of a walk-in tub for this person with an X. The person on the far right has even less mobility and has no walking or standing skills, but they can still sit upright independently and can also perform what therapists call a sliding lateral transfer, meaning scooting sideways when seated. Since you need to be able to walk through the door to get to the seat inside a walk-in tub, we should certainly put another X here. Now let's circle back to the person in the impaired stepping category, for whom we were investigating whether a walk-in tub is an age-proof bathing solution. For this person, we see that a walk-in tub fails them the moment their mobility declines further, as illustrated by the 2 categories on the right. In other words, walk-in tubs do not pass the future-proof test for this person. So together with the safety concern, they definitely earn a 4th X here in terms of suitability. But it gets even more absurd. Not only is your walk-in tub unusable for you when your mobility declines further, but its very presence in your bathroom can also get in the way of simple practical workarounds. Here's an example of what I mean by that. If a person in the shuffle walk or sideways scooting categories still had their old bathtub, they could use a bath bench, a handy seat that bridges the tub's wall. They can either walk into the bathroom and sit down on the end of the bench or scoot over on it if approaching with a wheelchair. Then they can just slide sideways into the tub, lifting the legs over the wall, doable even for most people with advanced mobility challenges. It's not the same thing as a long hot soak, but a seated hot shower is still a valuable, enjoyable bathing solution. By comparison, once you replaced your regular bathtub with a walk-in tub, no such workable compromise will be possible any longer in this bathroom. The result? Your pricey walk-in tub is now a dust-collecting monster occupying your bathroom, leaving you with no choice but to take sponge baths at the bathroom sink. At the bottom line, is a walk-in tub a future-proof, age-proof bathing solution? I'm definitely calling BS on this claim when it comes to the classic walk-in tub design. Not only does it utterly fail the future-proof test, it even blocks perfectly workable compromises. All right, so it's time to recap our findings by means of the notes we took here. In summary, what we found is that walk-in tubs with inward opening doors may not at all be the convenient, safe, caregiver-friendly, and future-proof bathing solution you're hoping for. In fact, the opposite may be true, and a walk-in tub's mere presence in your bathroom could even severely hamper viable bathing alternatives. Now, when you're discussing some of these aspects with someone trying to sell you a tub, you're likely to be confronted with lots of buts. But our tub model has a very low
threshold.
But we have super fast fill and drain times.
But this model has an extra wide door.
But our drain dial isn't round.
But ours has a special non-slip seat.
But our model has a heated backrest.
But check out how deep our tub is.
But our tub has several extra grab bars.
But our seat height meets ADA standards.
But you can just crank up the
model's
heat.
drain
in
dial
your
has a
bathroom.
lever.
Has special
Our
Pardon the earmuffs, it was getting noisy. Yes, sure, some models do have better features than others. But no matter what someone might tell you in hopes of selling you the classic type of walk-in tub with an inward swinging door, it is important for you to keep in mind that there are two intrinsic design flaws that will never go away. The first one is the very fact that the tub door swings into the tub, which is a fundamental safety flaw. We've broken down in detail how this design aspect can have grave consequences. The second one is that a permanent wall exists between the seat inside the tub and the outside world. This one is an inherent accessibility flaw, as this barrier prevents you from directly sitting down on or scooting sideways over onto the seat if your mobility no longer allows for stepping into the tub. Due to these two intrinsic deficiencies, in my professional opinion, classic walk-in tubs with inward opening doors are at their heart a dangerous flawed product category. It's safe to assume that the inventors of the first walk-in tubs set off to create this product for all the right reasons, and they should be commended for the effort. But unfortunately, that doesn't take away from the fact that the resulting solution is unsuitable for the people it was intended to help. This is the right time for me to bring up one question we still need to answer, which is the one I'm asking in the title of this video. Is buying a walk-in tub your biggest mistake? I can't answer that for you, as it'll be up to you and your healthcare provider to determine what's the best bathing solution for you and your individual circumstances. But based on years of experience as a therapist specialized in this field, and with my insights from being an expert witness in walk-in tub cases, I can say with confidence that I cannot imagine recommending this type of tub to anyone now. So for most people, in most situations, yes, I believe it would be a big mistake. At this time, I need to make it clear that when I caution against walk-in tub use, by no means am I suggesting that you should continue using a regular bathtub if you can no longer do so safely. Definitely don't do that. So now you might be thinking, okay, I get all this, but then what should I use instead? The answer depends on many factors, including your bathing goals. One quick but effective workaround to allow for a seated shower inside of your old standard bathtub are the bath seats we already touched upon. If you're determined to have a soaking bath and you have a spacious bathroom, a close sister to walk-in tubs I call slide-in tubs could be a consideration. With these tubs, You can sit down on the built-in seat directly from the outside of the tub, owing to the outward swinging door. This design feature makes them more age-proof and also reduces entrapment risks. As always, though, the devil is in the details, and I don't approve of all slide-in tub models out there. Now, if you asked me what my favorite, most age-proof bathing solution is, it would be a curbless shower. As the term implies, curbless showers are truly devoid of any curb or threshold, and if well designed, can be used by people of all ages and ability levels. These 3 bathing alternatives won't be suitable for everyone out there. Many other options exist as well, but all of this is beyond the scope of this video. As we wrap up, I want to be clear, nobody paid me to make this video. My goal is simply to share what I've learned so you can make informed choices, avoid costly mistakes, and stay safe. Finally, I'd also love for you to share your thoughts about walk-in tubs with me and other viewers in the comments. If you've used a walk-in tub as a bather or helped someone else to do so as a caregiver, how was your experience? Do you have any stories of your own to share in the realms of what I covered in this video? And if you found this video helpful, please pass it along to others you feel might benefit from it too. And don't forget to like it and to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.